We've all seen it, right? That infamous guilty look our dogs give us. But what if I told you it's one of the most misunderstood things in our entire relationship with our dogs? Today, we're going to decode what's really going on behind those puppy dog eyes.
So let's set the scene. You walk in the door after a long day and boom, you see it. Shredded cushions all over the floor. The trash can's been raided. And that snack you were saving for later? Yeah, that's gone. Then you look over and cowering in the corner, your dog gives you the look.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with that classic guilty scene. Then we'll ask, is it really an admission of guilt? We'll dig into what the science says, figure out what your dog is actually trying to tell you, and then wrap it all up with what a veterinary behaviorist would recommend.
So yeah, the evidence of the so-called crime is just everywhere. And there's the suspect, head down, ears pinned back, won't even make eye contact. You know, it's a scene that plays out in homes all over the world pretty much every single day.
And what's our first reaction? Our immediate gut reaction is to think, oh, he knows. He knows he messed up. We see that posture and we are just absolutely convinced that our dog is feeling guilty and is basically confessing.
But is it really guilt, or are we just seeing what we expect to see? To really get this, we've got to talk about this super powerful psychological filter that shapes how we see our dog's behavior.
And there's a name for this filter. It's called anthropomorphism. It's just our very human, very natural tendency to project our own complex feelings like guilt or pride or shame onto our animals. We see a look that resembles human guilt, and so our brain just goes, yep, that's guilt.
You know, to put it in perspective, researchers say a dog's emotional mind is pretty similar to a 2.5-year-old child. They for sure feel basic stuff like joy, fear, and anger. But those more complicated, self-aware emotions like guilt or shame, well, it seems like that's just not part of their emotional toolkit.
Okay, so if our big assumption is wrong, what is actually going on? This is where the science gets super interesting. Researchers have designed some really clever experiments to get to the bottom of this.
So back in 2009, a researcher named Alexandra Horowitz set up this brilliant test. Owners told their dogs not to eat a treat, then left. But here's the twist. Sometimes the dog ate it, but other times the researcher would sneak in and take the treat away. And the most important part? The owners were sometimes lied to about what their dog did before they went back in to either praise or scold them.
And the results? They were totally crystal clear. The so-called guilty look had absolutely nothing to do with whether the dog disobeyed. Not a thing. It was a direct, immediate reaction to the owner scolding them. In fact, the totally innocent dogs who got scolded by their misinformed owners, they showed the most signs of guilt.
This just shows how bad we are at reading this look. Another study had owners try to guess if their dog ate a forbidden treat just by watching how the dog greeted them. And their accuracy? A whopping 54%. Which is, statistically, no better than just flipping a coin. We're basically just guessing.
Okay, so let's build on this. If that look isn't an apology, then what in the world is it? What message is our dog really trying to send us when we think they're admitting they did something wrong?
This really requires a complete mental shift. We're seeing guilt and shame, but what the dog is actually communicating is fear, stress, and something called appeasement. They're not reacting to something they did in the past, they're reacting to the immediate threat, us, being angry.
And these behaviors are called appeasement gestures. Think of it as a social toolkit for calming a tense situation. By looking away, licking their lips, making themselves smaller, they're essentially waving a white flag. They're saying, hey, I see you're upset. I'm not a threat. Please calm down.
So, this brings us to the most important question of all. From a veterinary behaviorist point of view, knowing everything we now know, how are we supposed to handle these situations?
Okay, this is the key takeaway. A dog's brain learns from immediate consequences. Scolding your dog for a mess they made hours ago, or even just 5 minutes ago, is totally useless. They can't connect your anger now to the shoe they chewed earlier. All they learn is that you walking through the door sometimes means scary yelling. It just creates fear around your arrival.
So the professional approach, the one a behaviorist would recommend, isn't punishment. It's all about management and reinforcement. Instead of scolding, manage the environment so that bad behavior can't happen. Get a trash can with a lid, put your shoes away. Then dig deeper. Ask why it happened. Is my dog bored, anxious? And then focus all your energy on reinforcing the good stuff, the behaviors you do want to see.
So really, in the end, it all comes down to this simple but incredibly powerful shift in perspective.
When we stop asking, "Is my dog guilty?" and we start asking, "What is my dog feeling?" fear, stress, confusion, we transform our relationship from one based on judgment to one based on real empathy and understanding.
If this explainer helped you see your dog in a new light, please hit that subscribe button for more insights just like this. And if you want to support our work directly and help us keep making these explainers, you might consider buying us a coffee. There's a link below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.